In this video, I'm actually going to show you how we can actually solve a problem using this compound formula for when interest is compounded either monthly, bi-monthly. It could even be something, for instance, quarterly or semi-annually, right? It means it happens twice a year, 4 times a year, whatever the situation is. But if it's compounded and it gives you a specific interval that you can calculate, right, then what you want to go ahead and do is use this formula. A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N to the power of NT. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what each one of these variables is, and we're going to find it inside the story and go ahead and solve this problem. Now first of all, I want to tell you that A just simply represents the account balance. P represents the principal, which is the value that you're starting with, whatever you initially put into a bank account or an investment account or anything like that. And then R is going to be what we call the rate. It's going to be given as a percent, but you need to convert it to a decimal. And then N is going to be the number of times something is compounded. So it could be, if it says semi-annually, well then it's compounded 2 times a year. If it says quarterly, it's compounded 4 times a year. If it says monthly, it's compounded 12 times a year, and so on. So I'm going to put rate of compounding. Alright, and then the T stands for time in years. So we're going to get all this information from this story, and we're going to put these values into our formula, and we're going to solve it. So I'm going to go ahead and write this out real quick. Again, A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the power of N times T. Okay, so we're going to substitute these values. First of all, our principal. It says Adrena made a deposit to her bank account of $367. That's going to be my P, my principal, because it's what I'm starting with, which earns interest at a rate of 4.1%. That is going to be my R. That needs to be converted into a decimal. And the way we do that is 4.1%. If we want to convert this percent to a decimal, we're going to move the decimal over to the left 2 times. So the new decimal place is going to be here, which means it's going to be 0.041. And then it says that this is compounded each month. That tells us the frequency, right, or the rate at which it's being compounded. And so that's going to be our N value. So it says each month. And notice there's 12 months in a year. So since it does it each month and there's 12 months in a year, that's going to be my N value, and it's going to be 12, right, because it said each month. And then it says how much will Adrena have in her bank account after 4 years. That's going to be my variable T. That's my time in years. So let's go and substitute all these numbers. So A is going to be equal to parenthesis for my P value. My principal is 367 times 1 plus my R value. Now my R value is going to be 0.041, so 0.041 over my N value, which is 12, because there's 12 months in a year and it compounds each month. So 12 close parenthesis to the power of N. So just so you can see where I'm getting all these numbers right, that's my R. This number down at the bottom is my N. And then I'm going to use N again, right? In the N, notice it shows up 2 times. You're also going to use it in your power. So 12 again. So notice you'll have it in 2 places. And then times T, the time in years, right? So my time in years, it said 4 years. So now you can see where I got all my numbers from. So I'm just going to get my highlighter and box what we're actually putting in the calculator. So that's what we're actually putting in the calculator there. So 367 times 1 plus 0.041 over 12 to the power of 12 times 4. So I'm going to get my calculator right quick. Let's type that in. So parentheses 367, and you'll notice just the way that I write it in parentheses, I'm putting it in the calculator the same way with parentheses. So parentheses 1 plus And now for this one, I'm going to do alpha y equals inner to get my fraction bar, because this is a fraction. 0.041 over 12. Click to the right, close parenthesis, and then for the power, I can hit the caret key, the little up arrow, right? So I hit my caret key, and then I have parenthesis 12, my n value, times t, my time, which is 4. Alright, I have this all in. I'm going to hit enter, and here's my answer. So A is equal to 432.283. Now, the last thing that you're going to do is notice it says round your answer to the nearest hundredths place, because we're dealing with money, right? So when you go to the grocery store, you don't have 3 digits when it talks about the cents, right? You just have 2 digits. So it's going to get rounded to the hundredths place. And remember, the rule is 4 or less, let it rest, which means you don't change this number if this number at the end is 4 or less. But 5 or more, raise the score. Now, then you would change it to a 9. But in this case, it's 3, and 3 is less than 4. So our final answer will be $432.28. So after 4 years, with this interest rate, she's now going to have $432.28 in her account. And go to my next video if you need to see how to solve one of these types of problems that is compounded continuously, because there's going to be a different formula for that. So go look at that video if your problem says that the interest compounds continuously, because it's going to be a different formula.